What's up, guys? As we move towards the start of the holiday season, it's time we invest in better cryptos. And like most of you crypto enthusiasts, this year's market hasn't been exactly profitable. In fact, if anything, I doubt most of you are in the celebratory mood, especially if you banked on Bitcoin going straight to the moon. Guys, that clearly didn't happen, and I'm sure it might not be happening this year. But do you have any contrary opinion on this? Let me know in the section below. Now, to my XRP family, I've got some exciting news, so let's roll that intro and get things started. As always, welcome back to Money Side, your favorite crypto channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you get updates when we drop new videos. Don't forget to smash that like button, and remember, you can always leave a comment, question, or suggestion in the section below.
As you probably know, and even on CNBC Asia, I have called for the need for increased clarity and certainty about how the regulatory frameworks are going to work here. And look, I give credit to markets like Singapore and even parts of Korea, where there really has been a thoughtful government-led effort to define and have clear regulatory frameworks around cryptocurrencies. You know, Ripple is a US-based company, and ironically, here in the United States, they have not provided that same clarity. It's the only country the only country on the planet that has said XRP is anything other than a currency. And they've said, hey, the United States SEC has said, we think XRP is a security. And so we're now engaged in a court discussion. And, so far I feel good about how that's been going, but it's certainly frustrating. And I think it's for the United States economy, it's driving innovation and it's driving investment in blockchain, in crypto, outside the United States, where there is that clarity and certainty so that investors can make better decisions with that clarity.
You look at a public company like Coinbase in the United States, very regulated, public company, audited financials, and you had a private company based in the Bahamas, and purportedly what the former CEO of FTX has represented is that FTX US is solvent. I don't know, I think there's a lot of information out there. I don't know what the truth is right now. But I think the idea that it's not regulated is overstated. The UK actually has really been a leader in crypto regulation. Countries like Singapore, Japan, the UK have led much of that. And as CZ described, what happened here, I don't think it was about crypto regulation. It was maybe fraud. Maybe, that's true in many, many industries, not specific to crypto.
But I mean, like, I was talking to my colleagues here, and I was saying, but I wasn't going to ask you the first question is, are you a crook, Brad? Because I don't think you are for 1 minute. No, I genuinely, we've spoken on many occasions. But the problem is, what I think, whether you are or not, or whether SBF is or not, or whether CZ is or not, it's irrelevant. And that protection that comes from the regulation that you and Karen were just discussing there, surely would take out the guessing whether when you put your money in this wallet or you invest in this product, whether it is being run by crooks. And you're absolutely right. There is a lot of fraudulent activity in all kinds of financial products. But it does appear that crypto is attracting more than its fair share of crooks.
I guess what I would say is, anytime you have the formative stages of an industry, it draws all kinds of interesting people, charlatans, and potentially crooks. Again, I'm taking there's some facts.
I'm not accusing anyone.
I know.
But you've raised it, the fraudulent activity. There is a high chance that SBF has been conducting some illegal activity. There is a chance, and I say nothing's been proven.
I agree with everything you said there. Look, crypto has never just been sunshine and roses. I think crypto as an industry needs to mature. You and I have spoken a number of times, and I think Ripple has always tried to be very corporate focused, very much. And frankly, even though we are a private company and not regulated in certain ways as a public company, we're extremely transparent. Starting 5 years ago, we started publishing quarterly reports around everything we see going on in XRP markets. We publish how much XRP we sold, how much we own. These aren't things we're required to do. We do it because transparency builds trust. And if we want the industry to not go through some of these things, we need to continue.
So work with Gary rather than against him. Why can't you guys bury the hatchet and find a way forward that you can make it a regulated product? This is Gary Gensler I'm talking about, the CFTC.
Well, look, the United States, interestingly, is the only country on the planet that thinks that XRP is a security. We operate we're actually growing leaps and bounds outside the United States. 95% of our customers are non-US. Just this week, we announced our key kind of product using XRP. It is now live into Africa. So we continue to grow. The dynamic in the United States, I think, is, really the SEC not following what the law says and trying to grab power, because the Securities and Exchange Commission can only regulate securities. If these aren't securities, then they can't regulate that. I think you're seeing someone try to power grab as opposed to work constructively with the industry. Frankly, like, there is a process for the SEC to do rule making, public comment, to create rules. Enforcement, trying to regulate through enforcement is not constructive for any industry.
Just on that, I mean, where are we on a end of for the XRP story with the SEC? Because as you would have seen, I think you got a 10% spike in XRP on the back of speculation that it was done, it was over, and then it was perhaps dismissed as not over. So where are we on the court case?
So I mean, the good news, this is all in the public courts, so it's all very transparent. Again, transparency builds trust. The motions for summary judgment have been filed. They will be fully briefed in front of the court. It's in the Southern District of the Southern District of New York. I'm probably getting that slightly wrong, but that'll be done by the end of November. So the case will be before the judge by the end of November. The question is, how long does a federal judge take to make a decision on this case? You know, it could be 2 months, it could be 6 months. We don't know. You know, my best guess is certainly in the first half of next year, there'll be closure here. And this is a truly pivotal case for the crypto industry in the United States. The United States is still the largest economy. I think we all in the crypto industry should care how this goes. But you know, this really is the SEC trying to say this is all us. Gary Gensler has said he views nearly all crypto as securities. But frankly, you know, he hasn't gone after a Coinbase. If he thinks all crypto securities, well, that means Coinbase is trading unregistered securities. They're a publicly registered SEC regulated company, but he hasn't done that. So kind of what does he actually believe? This case will, you know, be pretty seminal in making that determination.
Yeah, and I think it's very useful, coming back to your point about setting out the guardrails and regulation. Cases like this help provide some precedents so we can understand then how the law interprets this. But let me ask you a slightly different question, because, you know, I'm probably the biggest conspiracy theorist around this desk here. and I'd love to know what you think about this. We've seen the blockchain and use of the blockchain progress, even as there's been this whole other stuff going on with FTX and so on and so forth. And in the background, the blockchain has been adopted for CBDC experiments. You know, the Bank de France issued a bond with it, and so on and so on. So it's happening. Is there a story here or a narrative where every time one of these blow-ups happen, it solidifies the case for the authorities to ring fence digital and crypto around a CBDC, and your industry dies unless you get on board with a government mandated, central bank controlled digital currency?
I view these as separate pieces. Central bank, CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, I think may have a role in the future of crypto. Ripple has publicly announced several countries we're working with, where countries, to your point, are doing pilots and testing, issuing central bank, really stable coins of a fiat on the XRP ledger. Those are countries like Romania and Bhutan. Right now I view those as tests. Separately, I mean, those are all stable coins, right? They're tied to a fiat. Separately, obviously, you have cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, like XRP, that trade independent of any fiat. I don't view as one versus the other. And I feel, you know, Ripple has always taken the point of view that these are complementary. We're trying to work with the industry. And at the end of the day, if you have a plethora of CBDCs, you still have the need to settle from the British pound to the Argentinian peso. And we're really trying to position XRP, because it's so scalable, because it's so cheap per transaction, so fast, as that bridge asset. And if we can make the entire global economy more efficient for global trade by using that bridge asset, again, you know, the core of what Ripple's solving today, a cross-border transaction, typically viewed as SWIFT, is slow, it's expensive, it's error-prone. We should not rely upon technology from literally 50 years ago.
You guys heard it directly from Brad Garlinghouse. We could eventually get to the end of this case. And without a doubt, Gary's obviously wrong when it comes to cryptos. Ripple has always been transparent about what they do, and not because of the SEC and regulations, but also to build trust with their customers. Ripple is trying to solve a problem outside crypto and fiat, which is something that hasn't been seen before. Through Ripple, cross-border transactions will be seamless and cost-effective. Like Brad Garlinghouse points out, we really shouldn't be using a technology that was developed 50 years ago, since the dynamics of cross-border payments has changed. In fact, Ripple has gone further to enter into the real estate business as well. Ripple tweeted, "Tokenizing real-world assets is proving to be tremendously valuable to a number of industries because of the inherent transparency and programmability of blockchain technology." We explored 2 such cases on day 2 of Ripple Swell Global.
The real estate industry is obviously one of the most obvious spaces or industries to bring onto chain. We felt that we could use tokens to exchange value and build a better level of trust in these relationships.
From the perspective of recruiting high value talent for something like building a gigafactory in Nevada, being able to target and cryptographically prove that someone, for example, took a specific class, got a specific grade, participated in a specific club, these have tremendous economic value.
Unless you are blind, I'm sure you already know how valuable Ripple can be in the real estate industry, especially when it comes to improving transactions. And with Ripple, the real estate industry will change for the better. Now guys, why wouldn't you invest in XRP right about now? Well, it's on its way to becoming the ideal bridge currency between different sectors of the world, and no one can stop it. Anyone who didn't believe in XRP is eventually going to regret that decision. Case in point, Pompliano once cheered the SEC, even though it's clear as day the SEC isn't out to get bad crypto, but to control the whole industry by force. Crypto Bull tweeted, "Remember when A. Pompliano cheered for the SEC and had no compassion for the XRP community? He is shilling FTX. Looks like he loves hurting people financially."
I'm also incredibly mad. I'm mad because some of these teams' decisions have now put individual users at risk. Today's episode is brought to you by FTX US. They're a safe, regulated way to buy Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. They've got very cheap fees, sometimes as much as 85% cheaper than their competitors. There are teams that have made grave mistakes. They have put the industry and users at risk. And now we are going to have to sift through all of these problems. And now the average user is facing the consequences. This is not acceptable. In fact, I think it's complete bullshit. And I feel compelled to call it out. No transaction fees and no payment for order flow. All you have to do is go download the FTX app today from the App Store and use code POMP, and you'll get some money back every single time you trade $10 or more. And millions of retail investors that also were duped as well. That doesn't make it right. And it is unclear whether this was due to malice or negligence, but either way, it is wrong. Again, go download the FTX app today, use code POMP, and every time you trade $10 or more, they'll go ahead and they'll give you some crypto back. The more you trade, the more you earn. Download the FTX app today. But enough is enough. Someone has to say that this is bullshit and call it out.
So what
Block 5! Rocket ship, get on board!
And FTX was the worst company to even talk about on any platform. And guys, the SEC will also shock everyone once the truth comes to light. Do you still believe that the SEC is conducting itself appropriately by delaying justice for Ripple? What are your thoughts on the matter? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, do your own research and always trade safely, guys. Please keep in mind we're not a licensed financial advisor. All videos on this channel are intended for entertainment purposes only. You can let us know always what you think in the comment section below. Let's start a conversation. Thank you so much for watching. Couldn't be here without you. Don't forget to like this video and please click on that subscribe button below. And be sure to turn on notifications. That way you get informed whenever we post our amazing content. Thanks again. We will see you on the next Money Side.